What's good, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K. The video you're about to watch right now was supposed to be posted on my birthday, which was Christmas Eve, as birthdays normally go, especially when it's Christmas Eve and it's so close to Christmas. I got busy and I wasn't able to upload the video then or on Christmas. Today is Christmas. So I'm uploading this video for you guys today, the day after Christmas. So I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are having a good holidays. If you're having time off with family, enjoy that. Enjoy this video. It's a fun video. It's different. Alright. I'm gonna go spend time with my family now. And stop looking up here. I'm looking at you guys, okay? Alright, bye. What's good, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K. Oh, sorry. This thing's still wrong hat. But we gotta stay on brand, you know what I'm talking about? I gotta look like the logo. What's good with you guys? Merry Christmas Eve. Today is Christmas Eve. It's the 24th of December, the first of a full week of uploads. We're trying to do, not a vlogmas, but we're trying to do a CK uploads a lot miss. Yeah, at least for 1 week. This video is gonna be a fun video because it's my birthday. I wanted to do one of my own lists, and you guys know me to be a guy that likes the, you know, outrageous or the out of the ordinary character on the team. Yes, character, not player. You know, like last year, I was heavy on Beasley, still am heavy on Beasley, as well as when we made the trade for Emmanuel Mudiay, I was heavy on Mudiay from then until now. Still a Mudiay fan. One of my favorite things about the Knicks is it seems like a lot of guys that come through the New York Knicks end up being New York Knicks. There are a lot of guys that come here and have a great story, you know, do great things, and then they either fall off or they continue to do that on other teams. So this video is primarily on my top 5 favorite storied Knicks players. One of my favorite things about being a Knicks fan is I love these kind of story players, because being a bad team for a long time, we are trying to search for talent in players that maybe a lot of other teams, a lot of people might not have heard of, and they eventually turn into a talented player, or they turn into a talented player for the year and then they fall off. So I call those are storied NBA players, and that's who is going to be on this list. Starting at number 5, we're going to go with one of the more recent ones, and that is Langston Galloway. Yes, a lot of you guys remember Langston Galloway from the time that we picked him up, a lot like Alonzo Trier. Well, similar to Alonzo Trier. Langston Galloway was one of those at the time D-League players that played really well for us. I think that's the common theme with the Knicks. A lot of these guys we see in the D-League, they do good stuff. The Knicks give them a chance, and then they either pan out and then they fall off after that, or they pan out and we keep them. But this was one of those guys, and he eventually at some point even got to the starting lineup. He went from being, you know, a D-League guy to somebody that a lot of Knicks fans were cheering for and hoping to see him hit the rotation. He eventually did crack the rotation. He played good minutes for us. He got us some very key buckets in the time that we've had him, and he was fun for us.
It is Galloway from 3 ties the game at 95. Langston Galloway with a 3-point field goal with 6.3 seconds remaining.
But then he was eventually taken very, very good care of by New Orleans. They gave him a contract. For those who didn't know, Langston is from New Orleans. That name, Langston, called me Langston Galloway.
Get some help.
Number 4 on my short list. This was one of my favorite players. Thanks to Tracy Morgan giving him the nickname Agua. I was calling him Agua ever since because of Tracy Morgan. This is Landry Fields. Landry Fields was the unsung hero that we drafted that no one knew who he was. Fun fact, Landry Fields is a California kid. He went to the rival school from my high school out here in California. And I watched this man tear up my high school time in and time out. He was at the rival school. We played him twice. He tore us up. So then when he moved on to go to Stanford, and then he ended up getting drafted by my Knicks, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, because I went from not liking him to being a very big fan of him, because like I knew his game and it was so cool to see his game go to the next level. Sadly, quote unquote, because of injuries in Toronto.
I got this cutie pie named Landry Fields.
I think he's still working in basketball in some way, shape, or form. I'm not looking up. These are all these facts and things are coming from the top of my head. But please, somebody fact check me in the comments. He's probably doing some, because I do remember seeing him at Summer League. He actually sat a few seats away from me. Brandon B Wars World, subscribe to him. So I know he's doing some with basketball. I just don't know with who and what exactly he's doing. But yeah, I love Landry Fields for the time we had him. I strongly believe that the addition of Carmelo Anthony, it stunted his growth. All right, it stunted his growth because he was playing really well up until the trade happened, and then he just wasn't the same since. But Landry Fields is one of my favorite storied players. Landry Fields. Number 3. Now this one's hard. Number 3 and number 2. They could be the 2 or the 3 spot. These are both players I still love to this day. They're storied for a different reason, in my opinion. I feel like they make the list because there was a story behind them, but I'm gonna put him in number 3. Number 3 is Wilson Chandler. I know you guys remember when we picked up Wilson Chandler. We had him and we had, oh my god, what is his name? Nichols. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? It was Demetrius Nichols. That's who it was. God, I was like, who was it? Now, Demetrius Nichols not on this list, but at that time, I remember that those two were playing really well together in the summer league, and then it led to Wilson Chandler getting more minutes in the actual regular season, but Nichols didn't really pan out and didn't work out. And I think we ultimately moved him to Europe, or we didn't trade him, but he left to Europe, and then we never heard from him again. I remember not a lot of people knowing much about Wilson Chandler, myself included, but I was really happy with the pick. I mean, he was a late first rounder. You know, he played for DePaul. Not a lot of people knew about Wilson Chandler. And to me, he was one of those guys that every year he was slowly getting out of his shell and slowly becoming a solid wing player. We did also have Danilo Gallinari, and they had that fun combo that we eventually got to see pan out together on other teams like Denver. But sadly for us, we didn't really get the opportunity to see them flourish and turn into who they could have been. Danilo Gallinari had injury problems, and for a time so did Wilson Chandler, especially when they both went to Denver. But Wilson Chandler, man, I just remember that summer league so clearly because no one knew who he was. We got him at 23. He went to DePaul. He was really not really talked about much. It was in those days when the Knicks like to draft people that weren't on the draft boards. Remember, we got like guys like freaking Jordan Hill, and you guys get the picture. So then he was one of those outrageous picks that ended up to pan out, and look at him now. He's still playing. He's playing very productively throughout the season. If he was healthy, he'd probably be would have ended up being a solid player in the league. Wilson Chandler to this day is still one of my favorite players that we've ever picked up. So I have him on the list. To me, it's a story situation because we didn't know who he was when we drafted him, and then he sold himself in the summer league and then went out from there. Number 2 on this list, and he could easily be number 3, but I'm giving him the number 2 just because of the connection and why I fell in love with this guy. This was our 2nd round pick in the 2004 NBA draft, Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza I was so excited for this dude. There was so much hype around him. They said that his ceiling was like Tracy McGrady. He had that kind of athleticism. You know, he just needed to improve his jump shot. His defense was there. He looked great. He was a fun player to watch. And I was all about it. I bought into the hype, and I'm like, yo, this guy's gonna be the truth. This guy's gonna be the next thing. And instantly you saw his athleticism. I mean, he did a lot of groundbreaking stuff for us at the time. I mean, at that time, he was like one of the youngest players to ever wear a Knicks uniform. He played 80 of the 82 games, which is like the most games played since like Greg Anthony and stuff like that. He did a lot of groundbreaking stuff for us, but then he ultimately ended up going to Orlando, hence the Tracy McGrady comparison. I mean, it was perfect. I was following his career for a little bit up until he became a Laker, and then I was just like, this guy is not gonna be that guy. And he went to the Lakers and he did good stuff. He never really panned out to be the guy that a lot of people thought he was going to be, even though he was a 2nd round pick. But he's been a very valuable veteran throughout his entire career. And you know, I remember when we drafted him and just the hype around him and the things you were hearing, I was very excited about him. So technically, to me, he was a storied, memorable player in my mind. It's a weird list, I know, but this is I don't know how else to word these kind of players. As a matter of fact, I made an honorable mention list for some other players that in my mind could fit this criteria. So I want you guys to hear this honorable mention list and then tell me some guys that I'm missing, or tell me players that you think could be added on mine. Torrey Murray, Tony Douglas, Bill Walker, Patrick Ewing Jr., not Clay, but Michael Thompson. So yeah, those are all guys, and there's probably people that are forgetting, like Andy Routins I could put in there. There's a bunch of guys that, no, Andy Routins didn't do anything. He can't be on there. Go New York, go New York, go! Number 1 on this list. A lot of people are going to be triggered, and they're not going to admit that they were on the team that they wanted to see him play. Or people are going to admit like, yeah, man, I wanted to see it. I was all about it. And that was Chris Smith, the younger brother of J.R. Smith. Yo, I remember when we signed Chris Smith and J.R. was there, and it was just so cool. We had both the brothers, and I was really, really hoping that we'd get to see Chris Smith go out there and play solid minutes, but he just never really panned out. He's never hit a team since. And Chris Smith was just, I remember every time he hit the floor, the crowd would go crazy. And I think this is when I first made my first ever Twitter, and I was going on. I'm like, play Chris Smith, because we were bad already. Well, not bad, but we weren't the team that we turned into the following year. Oh man, I remember that whole hype around that. Chris Smith was a fun story, and the fact that, you know, he did some stuff for us in preseasons and in summer leagues and stuff like that. It was fun. But in the long run, he definitely wasn't set to be an NBA point guard, and that's just the reality of that situation. Sorry, Chris. But that is my list of story players. I would love to hear the players that you guys cheered for and thought would be the next best thing for the Knicks that either did not pan out or did pan out after they left. You know, Jeremy Lin, I guess, could be something. He's along those lines too, but I don't really count him because, you know, he became, I don't know. I don't count Jeremy Lin. But I would love to hear some of the players that I left on this list and what you guys think. This was just a fun thing I want to do for my birthday. Like Alonzo Trier, what we're going through right now, he's one of those guys. Undrafted. We picked him up instantly after the draft ended, and now he went from a two-way to a 2-year contract. You know what I'm saying? So I love those kind of stories, and I just would love to hear what kind of players you guys had. So please let me know who I'm missing in the comment section below. Like this video, follow me on my socials, hit the sub if you haven't. Not to get too sad or anything, but I really appreciate all you guys' support. We're getting closer to that 7,000 subs. Can we hit it before the end of the year? Who knows? We'll see. If not, it doesn't matter. Appreciate the support. Catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Let's get it.